And we are live. So, welcome to episode 2 of Losing Your Damn Mind with Andrea. Once again, I'm Andrea. Pleased to meet you. And my guest tonight is Leo. So, Leo is actually an assistant of mine with my business partner. For our photography needs. He was in a program we did a few years ago, and because we got along well with him and he was a hard worker, we were like, "Hey, let's bring him on and make use of his youthfulness, so that because we can't carry heavy bags and stuff like that." So, Leo, how's it going?
Not too bad. Definitely a lot of changes in the world around us, but you know,
You mean this isn't how you would typically spend a Saturday night?
I mean, it probably is. Really, I don't do much on Saturday nights, but yeah, being stuck inside all the time isn't usually how it goes.
Mhm. Yeah, it's, so well, actually start by telling us just a little bit about yourself, like, just in terms of what your typical day-to-day looks like.
So, like Andrea said, I do volunteer and work with her program. Uh, Previously, I've held different part-time jobs. Right now, that's the only avenue I'm working on. But I am a full-time student as well in kinesiology and health studies, and I was taking a full course load, 5 classes, 2 labs this past semester, and so that's definitely what's gotten most turned upside down in the last couple months.
Mhm. And making people question, from what I've seen from articles, is the university model going to change a lot, once all of this is done? Because one might argue, why do I need to go to a physical place to
Yeah.
learn things?
It's definitely something people are questioning, but I hope that doesn't go into effect until after I'm done my degree, because
Mhm.
I'm not an online learner.
Which is totally valid. I am also doing online classes right now, and this is the first time I've done an online program, and I am struggling with the format. Like, I like there to be a teacher right there that
Yeah,
I can bounce ideas off of and be like, "What the hell is wrong with this program?" And then they can, like, just look over my shoulder and be like, "Hey, you forgot to do this," or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, and especially this semester, it kind of sucks because like I signed up for all in-person classes, and so that was the learning dynamic I was going for. That's what I was okay with, and then all of my profs are just kind of like, "Well, here's a PowerPoint. Time to teach yourself."
Oh, and well, I would say I'm sure that a lot of the profs are probably struggling with kind of
Yeah,
having like an identity crisis right
yeah.
now.
Definitely a lot of curveballs their way too. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so again, the theme of this vlog, as it were, is basically mental health and how everybody is doing and how we're all in this boat together. So, the main question that I will be asking guests going forward, Leo, have you lost your damn mind?
Well, I mean, as you know, Andrea, and depending on who's answering that question, I've lost my mind a long time ago. So, but it's been pretty stable, I think, since things have changed. Been able to uh, keep life into a new routine, even though it's not the same as it used to be. So
Hmm. Have you found that it's been a struggle at all changing or adapting to this sort of new way of life that we've got going right now?
I think the biggest struggle is being at home with everyone and having so many people around. I still live with my family, and so my parents haven't been able to go to work either. So it's one thing with like I know how to work around the house with my sister in the house, who also came back from out of province. But
Mhm.
then adding 2 parents on top of it, and other people working in the household, it's just a lot more stress than usual.
Yeah.
And the internet sucks a lot more. Um, so I mean, I've dealt with it, and I don't think it's. I think I've been doing fairly well, but yeah, it's definitely a lot of change thrown at you at once.
Yeah, I've been noticing, like, at least right now, our streams seem to be pretty clear and, like, the audio is really good, and,
Mm,
when I did episode 1 with Jess, we had some moments toward the end of the broadcast where her image just sort of hung and the audio disappeared, and I was like, oh no, what do I do? But even just say like watching Netflix or something like that, I've been finding that there's been a lot more buffering going on, and lag time, or it'll be like, we can't access these titles right now. Try again. It's like, I have nothing else to do right now.
Yeah. Well, I love those memes in regards to Netflix when it's like Netflix needs to change from "Are you still there?" to "Get up and go get another glass of wine because you've watched too much already."
Yeah, that's one of the things that has been, in a way, nice, and I suppose chalk it up to just people needing to laugh as opposed to cry. But like some of the memes and stuff that have been coming out, just comedic gold. Like, I like the ones where somebody will say, like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you just ate.
Yeah. Oh. And I love all of like the new worker comments too, or like, oh yeah, put like, what did your pet do at the end of the bar, and let us know what they're doing.
Yeah, what I answered one of those the one time just because it's like, well, the guy at the end of the bar just shat on the carpet. Oh, my baby. My precious little Buster. By the way, for the viewers, in case anybody happens to start hearing like barking all of a sudden, my dog is a beagle and he doesn't come with an off switch. So that's awesome. What would you say that you miss the most about the before times?
I think just like the freedom of being able to go out to anywhere whenever you want, right? Like now you have to be very conscious of, okay, why am I going out? How am I going to go out and do it safely if you're going out, which like, is very restricted to what you should be doing. So I think it's just, namely that freedom of being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want kind of thing.
Yeah. Are you getting like groceries delivered, or is somebody in the house going and getting them once a week, or?
Yeah, same person going to get them once a week kind of thing. So definitely for my family, it hasn't been too bad of a transition. We usually meal plan like 2 weeks in advance or like 2 weeks at a time. So have a good shopping list, know what we need, and then missing a little bit of getting to run out and pick up those extra things that you always forget. But
yeah. Or even just being like, I could really go for a chocolate bar right now, and not wanting to just walk over to the corner store or anything like that to pick it up. And are you sanitizing everything when it's coming in too?
Depends on what it is. And like to a certain degree, we're doing like the actual food and stuff mostly when we're like prepping it, but we're not like sanitizing the bags outside of the house before we bring them into the house.
Yeah.
If that's what like some people need to do that, and that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah. I have like, I'm not doing it outside of the house. Usually what I do is I'm trying to be, because I'll usually get Superstore to deliver it. So I'll like even go so far as to get the kitchen gloves on and then be really cognizant of which hand I use to like pick up the bags and open the door, and try to make it not the same hand to do that. And then if I do end up touching stuff after touching the bags, like wiping it down with Lysol. And then I actually, bags of chips, actually pretty much everything. I use the Lysol wipes on it, and like have like a clean table and then the dirty table, and then like have to clean up the dirty table afterward. And I mean, some people, I guess, particularly if they have health issues or whatever, probably that's just their reality. So it's a big deal. But I'm pretty lazy otherwise. Like I think I'm okay at general hand washing, but it doesn't, when it comes to like washing your fruit and stuff like that, no, I'm terrible.
Although I know I've been washing my hands a lot more because they are so dry and they crack every day, and you're like, okay, I need lotion now.
With the photography that I do for the health region, because we work with patients, so we'll do clinical photography. Sometimes we'll get a call from like the NICU or just like any patient if there's something that needs to be documented for their chart. And plus we do a lot of work taking pictures of the insides of eyes. So anytime we're walking into the eye center and working with a patient, you got to wash your hands and like wearing the gloves. And in the winter, my hands get really red, like all along here. And like even I can feel it like cracked and whatever. But I was like, I don't want to buy anything online, but I need it's this hand lotion from Lush that smells like diaper rash cream. But I swear to God, it's the only stuff that actually works well enough to make my hands feel like
not dead.
Yeah, and not be painful when it comes down to it. So, but hand hygiene is very important all the time, not just now, but like especially now.
I think that'll be one of the biggest takeaways is like, okay, now that this has all happened, I know I've been washing my hands properly. And so I think I'll be the person that'll still be like 3 months down the road or like everything's perfectly gone back to normal. And I'm still like, no, must be 20 seconds wash.
Must be clean. Singing a happy birthday to I think if anything, I'll probably be more vocal about other people's hand hygiene because I find the absolute worst is when you're in a public restroom and you hear somebody else finish and then just walk right out the door and it's like I didn't hear any water or soap or paper towels or anything and I don't want to touch that door now.
Let alone what table are you sitting at? Because I ain't coming near you.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Oh God. But again, it's like I guess I could fault their education on that. Like somewhere along the line, somebody dropped the ball and they didn't like enforce it strictly enough.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know. So are you finding at all that your mental health is sort of has been or have you been more stressed with all of this besides having, you know, people around, but just the way things are right now?
I think overall, like it hasn't been too bad. School, I definitely learned to prioritize differently. Not necessarily in a good way either. It's been a lot more of what project do I need to work on right now? Okay, let's get that out of the way and then go to the next project. And that's like all I've been doing. And then once the projects were all done, I was like, oh, I have to learn material for exams. But so I've been finding stress from different things or in different ways. Sometimes like those little things about your family that you love because they're so quirky kind of get more on your nerves when you spend 24 hours with them.
Right.
But overall, I think I've been doing fairly well. So I'm grateful for that.
That's good. Yeah. I've been finding in the last week that I've been keeping busier that my mental health has been better, but and certainly having something like this to do, like it's a task, it's something, and one could argue slightly creative anyway. So that's been good for me to have something to focus on. But yeah, I've been just finding that not having a lot of other things or any deadlines to meet basically has been very taxing on my brain and just the way my brain works. If there's nothing wrong and I have nothing to focus on, I'm gonna find something. It's like, oh, why don't you just like worry about your relationship or worry about like how good you are professionally as a photographer or if you'll ever make it as a graphic designer at all. And do you even want to make it as a graphic designer? So why are you even doing school? And are you even good enough to be in school? And I was going down that rabbit hole the other day and it occurred to me, I was like, wait, no, that's the whole point of school. Like you can be crap, but the whole point is to learn. So if you're not even good enough to learn, you need to back that train and realize that that's not, those thoughts are not serving you at all. So in that case, like, what do you like, particularly like living with a few people in the house, like, what are you guys doing as a group sort of to cope or to help each other out or to not drive each other crazy with those quirks that you mentioned?
Well, I think one of the biggest things, like you said, was just kind of keeping busy. We all choose our own ways of doing that. But for one thing, we have been doing games nights on Fridays. So been doing that, playing a lot of crib and a lot of Dutch Blitz, which has become a new fun game that we might elbow each other in the faces sometimes. But No one has a black eye yet, so
That is good. Although that said, since nobody's going out, if you did give somebody a black eye,
no one would know. No one
no.
would know. But definitely a lot of walking too.
Sorry, say again?
Sorry, definitely a lot of walking. We've gone out for some walks, trying to social distance as you're doing that and stuff.
Yeah.
And treadmill in the house that's gotten a lot more use than it has in any other year in this 2-month period.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, and plus I know you got like nice walking trails
Yeah,
by your place and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm just glad that the weather is turning around. I ran into a couple neighbors and again staying at a socially acceptable distance, but was chatting with them and just saying how the one fellow was saying that the whole week, like it was just gray and kind of cold and not
yeah,
awesome. And he said it was just feeling like blah.
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help when so much has changed already. Like at least having the nice weather, like visually you're getting stimulated in a good way that you're like, okay, today's a good day. Whereas like when it's been snowing, and I just relate to that meme where it's like, oh, COVID and it's snowing, time for more wine. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. I mean, not that I can't go to the liquor store and get me some wine, but I kinda reduce that. But I think I do have rum in the house, so yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. I need some Coke to go with it, but I don't know, I guess I'll have to make some Crystal Light or something. Oh, the things that we're putting up with. Um, I guess do you have any sort of go-to methods that when you are like if you are having a little bit of a with schoolwork or just thinking even though you probably arguably have more time now than you ever had to get things done or just like not worrying about it, do you have any go-tos that make you happy or are helping you sort of get through?
I think like the little things that make you feel productive. I started to paint. Like, I mean, I kind of painted, but like I've been painting like fairly regularly, which is nice.
Mhm.
And it's just like, it is that creative outlet, and it's like I can do this. I can like kind of set a limit, and then you have a result at the end. It's not just watching Netflix, even though I've been doing a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And then a lot of cleaning because that's just my personality. So,
Uh-huh.
it's a nice release.
Yeah. So what do you paint? Like landscapes or abstract or
It's kind of changed. So it started with a project that we were doing. We had these cut out wood hearts, heart, yeah, wood hearts, and then we ended up just painting the backgrounds. And then I did like the medical symbol with like the snakes going up it kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of interesting. And I was like, wow, this actually looks half decent. And like, so I was like, why not do more? So I did a few different landscapes. I did one of like a campfire with some nice trees in the background and like the sunset going down. And I did one of some daisies in a mason jar. Just I kind of look up things on Pinterest that's like easy to paint and then just copy it and it works. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, why not be a little bit more productive? And so I've started to make Christmas cards in in April.
Oh, wow. Are they COVID themed Christmas cards?
Only if a reindeer's COVID.
Well, let's hope not, although there's no evidence to support the theory that they don't get COVID. Well, good on you. That's not something I even remotely had considered the idea of, like, getting started on my Christmas stuff already. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's impressive, and, I'm sure only a few of us will feel shame, for not thinking it that. But, cleaning is another thing that's, yeah, I've also been sort of trying to do, especially, like, since, for those who don't know, like, my dad just passed away in November, and he wasn't a hoarder,
Not quite.
quite. But, yeah, so I've been like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna be off work for, well, another 2 months now, and I have the time, so if I'm gonna get, a decent start on it, I should really do it now 'cause, man, but he had a lot of stuff." I can't say that, it's not a trait that I have somewhat inherited, but at least I feel that I get rid of some stuff some of the time. And creative outlets too, like, I mentioned in the other podcast that I or vlog that I tried to write, and that didn't go very well, but, the piano playing has been going a little better than that, so, yeah. So, um, for happy things, I would say one thing that makes me really happy these days is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the fact that the new season has just started on, Netflix makes me very happy because I'm going to have to sit myself down and watch some of it because I don't have cable. So I was just sorta waiting for it, and, I worry that because everybody has their own streaming services nowadays, that perhaps it'll disappear at some point and I won't have that opportunity anymore. But
You're on the new season right now?
it's yeah, season 7,
Yeah.
so just started airing,
Yeah, I think it went
yesterday,
on
I
2
think.
days ago. Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, 'cause, the season ended on TV on Thursday, so
Oh.
they put it on, Netflix on Friday. So I think they were aware that some people were watching for it.
Yeah, Jillian and I already watched the first 3 episodes, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And it's good so far?
Enjoying it, yeah. The
Okay, good.
NBC definitely has their hands on a little bit more, playing with it, but or no, that's Community that I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Oh gosh, started to binge Community too.
Yeah, well, although that one's been over for a few years now.
Been
But
watching it, and I liked it until the 5th season, and now I'm like, "Well, I'd be okay with not finishing it."
oh, well, that's good to know. That's one thing about not starting a show until later, like, my boyfriend and I just started watching Breaking Bad. I think I told you about that. He's
Yeah,
seen it before, but I hadn't, so and I knew it was, like I'd seen clips of it, so I knew the premise, and, plus just in general, I really like Bryan Cranston as an actor, like, he's super, super talented dude. Especially because to go from being, like, Hal, the dad from Malcolm in the
Malcolm in the
Middle,
Middle.
to being Walter White.
Yeah,
It really shows his breadth as an actor.
although you can see his anger is kind of consistent between the 2.
This is true, also wearing the tidy whities
Yep.
and running around in those sort of unashamedly. So,
Yep.
I mean, breadth as an actor, but also consistency as an actor.
Yeah.
Um
Equally committed.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess, if you are an actor who is very comfortable with, being in your tidy whities on camera, then that will just afford you more, roles, potential roles, throughout your careers, so good on him.
Yeah.
So, one of the mandates, of this, vlog, as it were, again, is to, well, maybe give a little bit of levity, to people who may stumble on this. Again, I don't know if there's going to be any audience for it once we start airing them, because we're live right now and, we have 0 viewers, which is okay because I wanted to sort of do a test run before, making it available to the general public. But, yeah, just sort of helping hopefully to brighten somebody's day and also to talk about mental health initiatives or services that are available. I'm assuming that U of R probably has some, even if it's through student services or something like
Mhm.
that, available.
Yeah, they have some, different online, things available to students. They actually opened up a new service, I think this past fall, that, students can text in a certain code to a number. I don't know it off the top of my head, but they can text in and they can talk to, a counselor over just their phone, and that way, if they're not comfortable even phoning in, they're able to, still verbalize their feelings and make sure that they're being heard and feel a little bit more comfortable that way.
Mhm. That's great actually, especially 'cause, I know that personally, like, before I got to a point where I started seeking out, the help of a professional back in the day that, if there had been, like, a chat function available, I might have made use of that just
Yeah.
to reach out, because it is intimidating to say, I feel like I can't cope with life right now. And I know that for myself, it kind of felt like I was throwing in the towel, or just being to a point where I was just like, okay, well, clearly I can't handle being a person. And
Yeah.
I felt like there was a weakness in that. So, yeah, if people are struggling and they're afraid to reach out, I would say, don't be afraid, because everybody's almost everybody. Leo, you seem to be taking it in stride.
I'm struggling too. It's okay.
Just maybe in different ways, and that
Yeah.
could go for everybody too. The people who are normally right on the ball are able to manage their tasks and do things in a proper order, so that they're not like freaking out, thinking, "Oh God, I'm not going to make this deadline," or whatever. Stress can manifest itself in indecision and inability to to prioritize things. So, yeah. So I'm just going to throw up another resource here. So, the Canadian Mental Health Association. This is the link for the Saskatchewan page, but as it's the Canadian Mental Health Association, one assumes that they are available nationwide. So I'm sure if you did find that you were struggling, that going to their website would be a good start for possibly finding resources. So, so we're coming up on almost a half hour, so I think we're gonna wrap up. But what is something that has made you happy or made you laugh in the last couple of days?
I think my girlfriend's new dogs. They are ooh, 9 and 11 weeks old, and they love attacking each other and play fighting. And it's just hilarious the size difference between them. Rosie's the little girl; she's 9 weeks old. She's about 5 pounds, and Bear's the 11 month or 11 week old. He's about 8 pounds now, so he's almost double the size. His legs are a lot more lanky than hers, and he's the older brother that just beats on his little sister, and she'll just whine and cry or run away. She'll jump underneath the couch where he can't get because he's too big, and then when she goes after him, he'll complain, but we're all like, oh no, it's okay, he's the big boy.
Aw.
So gotta feel bad for him, but they're definitely
Yes.
enjoyable to watch lately.
Oh, I do miss Buster being a puppy in some ways. Actually, I ended up stumbling onto some videos that I had made of him when he was just a puppy, and just a holy terror, like just running around the living room like in circles and growling, and he had a real problem with nipping. And the one time I remember he just he nipped me, so I was kind of like trying to pick him up, but he kept evading me, and he was small enough that he could just like if he run at it and then ducked, he could just slide right underneath the coffee table where I couldn't get him. And then one day he he got a little too big and just like clunk. And he didn't try that again after that. So yes, dogs are in many ways just too pure for this world. But thank God we have them.
Yep,
So
and that they can't get COVID.
yes, exactly. So no. So don't worry about it. Although that said, because you just never know, like if you were an asymptomatic carrier, you don't want to be passing it on to others. So if you see a
No.
nice dog in public, you're just like, oh, hello. I would pet you, but I can't. But yes, so someday when we are back to normal, I would love to photograph the puppies if somebody would arrange for that. So
Sure, we can make that happen.
excellent. Okay, well, so we're gonna wrap up here, and thank you, Leo, for joining me tonight and
Thanks for having me.
spending your precious Saturday night just online chatting with one of your bosses. But yeah, so we'll end the broadcast, and we will hopefully see some people in the next episode. Bye.